Well, how this talk show came about, if you want to call it that, was honestly after the election of what was the year 2016. I really had to do a lot of soul searching because I really did not understand. And then as the year progressed on, and I saw so many changes that were just very different, even in simple language. You know, you grow up, you're a country girl, but you're taught etiquettes, you're taught what to say. In fact, I laughed because I said I went to a little country school, and like most kids, many kids, I wanted to blend in. But my grandmother was quote unquote polished. My mom graduated from high school and actually taught school during that time. So we were taught to speak what we call correctly. And I would go to school and they would say, "Oh, you think you're so proper. You try to be so proper. You think you're so cute, blah, 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 blah." So they might say something like tater instead of potato or mato instead of tomato. So when I got home, I would try to say what they were saying because I didn't want to be called proper, for lack of a better word. And then I'd forget, and then I would say something else. And then my mom or my grandmother would say, "What did you say?" So then I'd have to correct myself, blah, blah, blah. And I tease and I say, well, that's how my speech pattern got kind of messed up going back and forth because we were taught to speak a certain way. We were taught manners. We were taught certain things that were etiquette and certain things that was respectable and polished. And this is what people did who were educated and proper, and what my grandmother honestly used to refer to as not plantation people. And that's not exactly the word she used, but that was what it was. And then, so I grew up that way, and I grew up believing that way, and I trained my children that way. And then when, we get a whole different language and we get, and I'm just going to say it, a president, using like bitch and fuck, I'm just like, huh? In addition to other things, because to me, words are visual. Fuck has a vision. And when I say it, I have a visual about it. BITH has a visual. So it was like, wait a minute, where are we going with this? And then what really got me to really thinking and knowing and understanding that I had to re-examine the way I thought about things was the number of people that are just fine. The polls that says, we like this man and we're for this, even though some of these same people strangely hated the Obamas. That's another talk show. So I had to really go back to try to understand what was changing and how the America, the cultural, the compassionate, the want to go around the world trying to tell everybody else how they should act and how they should be more human and blah, 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 blah. This was not American to me now. It just, there were so many things about this that were not American to me. And that's how I had to start rethinking how I thought about things and come to a conclusion of I have to know who I am and what I am comfortable with and go with that. And many of us will have to do the same thing because the people who are this is okay with, that's who they are, and they're okay with that, and they have a right to be okay with that. As long as it's not illegal, they can be all right with that. They can say these things, and you can think what you want to think about them, but there's no reason to feel that they don't have a right to say that. They don't have a right to be that way because this is America, and they do. But it was just very confusing to me to do that because you don't want to dislike people. You don't want to label them because that's, how some of the bad things come about when you start labeling people because of the way you think about what they say and who they are. You may not choose to be in their company. You may not invite them to your party. You may not even want them associating with your children, but they are who they are and you are who you are. And that's something that you just have to be, that I had to come to be very accepting of. And even this goes on, which I talk about on another whole ball game, the reality shows. I have problems with black women seeming made to look stupid, because I come from a generation and a time where women and black people had to prove that you were not 1/5 of a person. So that's another whole ball game. But anyway, I'll have to clean this up, but just wanted to get that thought done.